day. I wish you all a wonderful new week. In regards from here in northern Israel, where it is a day of uh, clearing up weather, getting blue in the sky. Happy cheery cheer. So, if you look at Bitcoin and altcoins in the crypto space, what happened yesterday? Remember, I told you it was setting up a highly probable nice week for trending moves with potentially tight ranges on the weekly range of the CDR and on the daily range of the CDR. Well, what happened? Central daily range of the VRE, right? The CDR of the VRE is in fact very tight. It's like 0.13. I'm talking about Bitcoin here right now, but the other cryptos a lot of them are right in line with it. And the central weekly range of Bitcoin, right? The central weekly range of the VRE of Bitcoin also very tight, relatively, not super tight, but tight, like well under 2%. It's about 1.73%. So technically that is also tight enough to be a trending week, right? On the weekly range. Now, will we see that play out? There's an extremely high probability that will play out, yes. Starting with the daily, right? We already saw, within 15 minutes of the start of the week, right? Like start from the second candle. Bitcoin, for example, started to pump up almost 1% on that one candle, and then another 0.25% or more on the next candle before coming back down a little bit. And it tested the daily range, which again is really tight. It's only like 0.13% of the asset's value. Dip below it. Last I looked at it, it was still underneath it. But it was like, wobbling around as it should, moving around, doing what assets do, distributing and mean reverting. And the central daily range is right there to be tested, and it's been tested already, today. So the probability that the central daily range being so tight will yield a nice set of trending moves on the lower time frames today, Monday, as the traditional market comes back, is very high. By the way, you like that bright green? It's a special filter. It's called the January filter. It's made by Mother Nature. It's literally not a phone on my filter. That is literally the color, the bright green color of the field, the hazy, foggy field. Way back there, there's mountains. You can't even see them, or you can barely see them. Anyway, this field brought to you by Mother Nature and human beings who do agriculture. This field, boy, that'd be a funny name for a show. Anyway, so yeah, Bitcoin set for more trending moves on the low time frames today, as are the altcoins that are moving along very much in line with it. Now, you think to yourself, well, if they're all moving in line, why don't we just put our money on a basket of them? Yeah, you could do that, right? But you got to remember, there will always be some differences, right, in how much each one of them moves. And for example, this weekend on Saturday, when a bunch of cryptos, including Bitcoin and Litecoin, Solana, and all that, were all dipping, XRP was pumping, right? Just as an example, right? ADA overall, was making some nice moves, but in that particular moment, it was a bit lower, right? Like during the live stream. So you got to keep that in mind, right? It's not obviously there's always going to be assets that move up and assets that move down, and assets are just kind of meandering sideways temporarily, right? And that's the point, is that just as the VEPs showed us, and as I told you in this video, right, channel, this is probably a reason you should subscribe, to be honest. Like, who else is giving you see the divergence between trees? Who else, other than Alpha Trading, okay, on our Alpha Trading channels, or here on my little channel, who else is giving you leading information with such accuracy on a regular basis and explaining how it works, right? And telling you why things are the way they are on the market and actually giving you real market dynamic information, right? When people want to talk about market structure, they don't even know what it is. When we talk about market dynamics, they really don't know what it is. You want to talk about risk management? Man, people do not know what that is. They say they know. Some people say they know. If you ask most traders, do you really know what risk management is? Well, I think a lot of them would actually, probably admit to you that they don't, or they're brainwashed into thinking that they know about it because they once heard some professor talk about it for 5 minutes, or they read something about it, but they didn't read a good thing. They read something really silly, or they watched something about it, maybe some casino or poker game professional talking about it, but they didn't really comprehend it, and so they didn't really learn it properly. By the way, poker professionals, like really good ones, not just people who just say I'm a poker professional, just like people in trading say, oh, I'm a trader, but they're not really. Poker professionals are usually really, really good at risk management, like exceptionally good. That's one of the reasons that they get that's one of the reasons that some of the best VEPS traders actually are people who play poker, because they understand first and foremost risk management above all else. If you're not managing your risk, you're gonna get wrecked. It doesn't matter what hand you got dealt. All right, if you don't know how to play it, if you don't know how to play what you got, and you don't know how to play your hand, you're gonna get wrecked, right? There's no going about it. So don't just assume you're going to just be an expert at VEPS and risk management because you play poker for fun sometimes, right? No. If you're like a professional poker player, or even a semi-pro but who's serious and trying to actually become a pro, and you want to trade, you gotta understand there is a huge difference between straight up gambling like poker, which again, if you're a professional, is a lot less gambling, quote unquote, than a retail gambler, but it's still gambling, versus trading, right? Yeah, and people will say, well, trading's gambling too, because you don't know which way the asset's going to go, up or down. Okay, well then walking across the street is gambling because you don't know if the car that's currently stopped at the crosswalk is actually going to start the car moving forward and hit you when you're crossing the crosswalk or not, right? You don't know if they're going to hit the accelerator and run into you. You trust that they won't, but maybe what if that one time they do, right? By the way, it happens. So it's these are things you can't just you can't blithely write them off and say, oh, you're talking about risk management, you're going above my head now. No, I'm not going above your head. I'm telling you, it's the most important thing to learn about trading. Everything else is just details, right? Literally everything else is just details when it comes to trading. Risk management above all else. The second thing is you have to have a quantifiable edge, right? You could even argue that the second thing is really the 3 rules for trading, right? The 3 rules for trading are very simple. Take profit, early and often. Limit loss. And don't be emotionally attached to your trades. Right? That's it. That's the 3 rules. Take profit early and often. Limit loss. Limit your losses, meaning don't get into situations where you're losing more and more. If you lose $1, it's better than losing $500, believe me. You lose, $10 is better than losing $10,000. It's just not a good idea. If the asset's going against you, if the trade is going against you, just get out. Wait for the next occurrence of opportunity and take that trade. You're not in a rush. The market's not going anywhere. Right? Assets are going to continue to move. And in crypto, the casino is open 24/7. I mean, the market. The market is open 24/7. Right? And don't be emotionally attached, meaning don't trade things that you quote unquote care about. Only trade things you don't care about. In the trading sense, it doesn't mean you, if you want to trade Bitcoin, you can't like Bitcoin. No, you can like Bitcoin. I love Bitcoin. It's great. It's fantastic. I got my issues with it, but I love it. It's fantastic. But when it comes to trading, I am not emotionally attached to Bitcoin. I am not emotionally attached to Litecoin. I'm not emotionally attached to Solana or BNB or DOT or XRP or any of the ADA. None of those things. Ethereum, I don't care. Like, all my prejudices and biases towards them, pro or con, they go straight out the window. Right? Why? Well, because having a bias or a prejudice that's for or against any particular asset is not going to help me win a trade. Right? If I think some asset is stupid and therefore I think it's not going to trade well, that's dumb. Because my one opinion can never reflect the opinions of an entire market that an asset is trading on. Even if I'm correct, even if an asset is dumb, that doesn't mean it won't trade well. And even if I'm correct that an asset is very smart and wise and good and should be trading at very high prices, that doesn't mean it will. Right? People make decisions about investing for all kinds of reasons, right? The smart ones use the VEPs, but not everybody does. And we're talking like less than 0.1% of retail traders use the VEPs. Far less than 0.1%, I would argue. But there's 50 million traders, retail traders? How many of them are actually using the VEPs? At best, maybe a few thousand. And when I say using the VEPs, no, they're not using the VEPs. They're using maybe some forms of volatility, like real volatility trading. Maybe there's a few thousand. Around the world, yeah? Maybe. Not even. And I know there's a few thousand that have downloaded a volatility indicator on their chart or whatever, and they think it's good, even though the math probably is crap. Or they may have put some kind of projection, some kind of probability cone or whatever they want to call it on their thing, and they think it's the cat's bananas. Is that what they say? The bee's knees? Well, it's not. Usually the math is off. That's the problem with it. And there's a lot of reasons why. I'll just say the math is off. Okay? That's all you got to know. On those indicators, the math is off. On alpha trading indicators, they're not. Why? Well, because we built everything actually from the ground up. We didn't use any math provided by the platform, which usually is problematic to do that for whatever reason. Okay. So, yeah, that's all I'll say is, not all tools are equal. Right? Not all tools are equal. Some indicators are better than others. Ours are the best. Why do I say that with such confidence? Well, because ours are built by some of the top people in the business and who are among the smartest math people and developer, indicator builders. The best ones I know, that's for sure. Are there people with equal or similar quality math skills who can also put together a good indicator? Well, there's at least one group, but there's really only one group that we know of that builds similar high quality math, but the indicators are not always super relevant to trading. Well, some of them are not. Some of them are very abstractly relevant to trading. Some of them are really much more for analysts than traders. They're for people who want to chew the fat, right? More than actually trade. And even that, like a lot of them are just too abstract for most people to even use. And by the way, I used them all, and they were, as a trader, I would say, yeah, they're great. If you're actually a serious trader and you put your nose to the grindstone and you learn how to use this stuff. But most people aren't that. That's a very, very rarefied thing people can say. Anyway, guys, I'm going to get going now. I'll catch you all later. You guys can catch us in the live stream on Alpha Trading. That starts at 11 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time. In our Discord, alphatradinghq.com/Discord. Again, alphatradinghq.com/Discord. Or you can catch us on our Rumble channel. We post the links to that in our Discord. So you might as well come to our Discord. Or you can search for us on Rumble and search for Alpha Trading VEPS. You'll find us. All right, that's it. Take care. Happy trading. Cheers.